Hello, I'm Russell Brand. Welcome to the Trews. Trews is true news. News you can trust. Subscribe here, subscribe here. Today on the Trews we are talking about homelessness and can we ever solve the crisis of homelessness. We've built it around the story of a 90-year-old man in Florida being arrested for feeding the homeless. Yes, that's right. A little old man has been arrested. What for? Did he strangle someone? Did he rape somebody? Did he kill someone? Oh no.
A Fort Lauderdale man is in trouble for doing something that a lot of us would consider kind and generous.
She's basically got the same perspective as the rest of us. Well, how can a person who's old and lovely helping homeless people be considered any kind of crime? How do you arrange your moral universe so that is criminal?
Arnold Abbott, that's his name right there. He's 90 years old and every week he makes hundreds of meals for the homeless.
He couldn't look more like an adorable old man, could he? And then he's noticed he's being ushered away by the police.
At his church's kitchen. Here's the thing. Now he's facing possible jail time and a $500 fine.
Like, you know, the sort of the prevailing idea is that there's something ethically wrong with being poor and that America is run according to Christian values. When people are practicing genuine Christian values, they themselves are directly prosecuted because sharing is one of the most important Christian values. Looking after one another is an important Christian value. They use Christianity and morality of all kinds as a mask to protect their own corporate interests.
He was charged Sunday for violating a new ordinance that virtually outlaws groups from sharing food with the hungry in that city.
We've got to have a law that prevents people from sharing food, especially with the hungry. Let's exclude them from the get-go from this.
The issue stems from a new city ordinance in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, that makes sharing food with the homeless an offense.
The National Coalition for the Homeless reported last month that at least 31 cities had passed bans or restrictions on food sharing. So this is a very popular current mentality. And presumably it comes from people or businesses and corporations in town centres saying, I don't like these homeless folk outside my store. This is inconvenient and depressing. And like the point, what I always like is that the point of impact is the homeless people themselves. Ugh, get rid of those people. What's causing it? What's causing that? I don't know. It's you!
Abbott is the founder of an interfaith organization, Love Thy Neighbor, and was the first to be charged. He is a World War II veteran who has spent the past 2 decades feeding the homeless.
There's that Christian value of helping others, that neglected Christian value. Obviously, the main things Jesus was into is having guns and not having abortions, and not being gay. They were his main priorities, but after he'd made sure that everyone had a gun and no one had an abortion and no one was gay, he would think a little bit about whether or not there was any poor people who needed anything.
One of the police officers came over and said, drop that plate right now. And so I was carrying a weapon.
Amazing. Drop that plate right now. If you were carrying a weapon, afternoon, sir. Carry on.
These are the poorest of the poor. They have nothing. They don't have a roof over their head. And who could turn them away?
The government. Easily. They're creating new laws to enforce that. That's why I'm always, myself, cynical when people go, don't give homeless people money, they'll only spend it on drugs. Because I think it's fostering an attitude of negativity to the most vulnerable people in society. Don't feel sympathy for vulnerable people. Think about local businesses and their needs not to have human litter cluttering up the walkways.
I fully believe that I am my brother's keeper. Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Okay, here are some statistics on homelessness. There are 90,000 homeless people that live in LA, but only 9,000 beds. Wow, 80,000 odd people sleeping outside. In the US, local governments are responding to inequality by passing laws making it a crime to sleep in a parked car. It's like the worse it gets, the worse they make it. At no point do people think we could divert some of this affluence and wealth at the top of the pyramid towards these people. We all find homelessness offensive, don't we? None of us like to see a homeless person. It makes you feel that twinge of guilt, or that could have been me, or perhaps that could never have been me. This person is somehow naturally inferior and disgusting. But all of us, regardless of whether we're pejorative or supportive of the homeless, would like to see it ended. But as we all know, it could never ever be ended under any circumstances. Homelessness could be ended with the money Americans spend on Christmas decorations. Yeah, but then we wouldn't have any Christmas decorations.
The 2 Florida pastors are Dwayne Black of the Sanctuary Church and Mark Sims of St. Mary Magdalene Episcopal Church. All 3 men are facing a $500 fine and up to 2 months in jail.
It's like these values now aren't the preserve of extreme activists, maniacs, loonies in anonymous masks tipping over police vans. Lovely war veteran elderly old men, because of the values we're talking about now are just compassion and fairness, and it's got to the point where it's affecting the most basic aspects or components of human life. Homes, our right to have homes. And this isn't just a problem that's happening in America, it's happening all over the world. It's happening here in London. I've talked about the New Era estate frequently, those 2 little kids I went on Lorraine with yesterday. These 2 children are friends of mine that live near me. I'm friends with their mum. They are living in the New Era estate. They're facing eviction because they want to raise the rents of the building, the social housing that they live in, to market rates. Come to the march on Saturday. Details are available to you. If you don't face up to problems where ordinary people have nowhere to reside, then you're going to have people living outside in leisure spaces, sleeping under the canopy of the skies instead of houses, on benches by lakes instead of in homes with bedrooms. In short, you're talking about a situation where people will be forced to live a... Let's bear in mind also that America have just had midterm elections where $4 billion was spent on campaigning, just on campaigning. That just means telling you that something's good. This is good, this is good. Ka-ching! That's $4 billion.
Mayor Jack Seiler warned arrests were coming.
We're not going to not enforce a law because of a specific member of a media or some media attention. We enforce the laws here in Fort Lauderdale.
They will be arrested.
If they break the law and it's observed by one of our law enforcement officers, they are subject to arrest.
The rule that you can't feed the homeless is being enforced against the lovely little old war veteran man, but the rule that you have to disclose where you get your campaign fund from can be changed, and was changed by the Supreme Court in order to raise unlimited money from secret donors. So you see, the system is corrupt. Little old lovely men can't feed the homeless, but rich corporations can do what they want to ensure that their political stooges are placed in office. It seems that laws in America and perhaps across the world are designed to make poor people poorer, rich people richer. Laws are only of value and respected if they're laws that help to perpetuate current power systems. Laws that are for ordinary people are easily ignored. The Second Amendment, hey, we've got a right to have guns. What about our right to give food to people? That's not a real law. What about that? Aren't they written on the same bit of paper? Yes, but with a very different pen. So the only laws that matter are laws that protect us all. The only rules that we should obey are rules that are fair to all of us. So what value is there in preserving a system and living by its rules if it's an unfair system with unfair rules? That is some Trews. Subscribe here to Trews. Subscribe to it.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.